Hey guys, happy Sunday. How's everybody doing? I see the chat is lit. I'm happy to see y'all. Happy December 1st. How are y'all feeling? First things first, I hope you guys had a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope y'all ate well. It's already Sunday, so those leftovers should be gone, okay? All right. I finished my leftovers on Friday. So yeah, so Sunday, this is the last day for leftovers, all right? You're really stretching it if you try to stretch them out till Monday, but Sunday, those leftovers should be gone. But hey, y'all, come on in the room and just some quick. Well, let me do my intro first. Hey, y'all, it's your girl, the Brooke Ashley. Welcome back. Today, we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 11. And before we get into it, I have so many thoughts. This episode was truly heartbreaking. I don't think you guys understand the way I was sobbing at the end. Those last 6 minutes between Mary and her son, Robert Jr., took me all the way out. So I am going to try to get through this recap without sobbing again. But yeah, that last scene took me all the way out. Yeah, I was crying. Just it was coming down. I mean, that was such a tearjerker. And shout out to Mary, and I'm praying for her and her son. I know that he is in rehab currently. She did do a recent interview with Entertainment Tonight saying that he's getting treated, he's getting the help that he needs, and that things are better. So I'm happy to hear that. But still, prayers up to her. Prayers up to anybody who's dealing with addiction. For anybody who has loved ones dealing with addiction, that can't be easy. So I'm just sending my love out to Mary, to anybody who's struggling. And that was a very raw moment. Now, I don't want to jump ahead, but I do want to just say before I forget, Heather and Meredith were asked about that last scene on Watch What Happens Live by Andy, and I didn't like their answers. For Heather to say that that was raw and captivating TV, let's be so for real. Yes, you guys are on a TV show, but at the end of the day, these are real lives. This is not a scene for a soap opera or a movie. This is real life. She's dealing with her son who's in the throes of addiction, and you're talking about is compelling TV. What the F are you talking about? I was really disturbed by that. And you can tell that this fame has really gassed up Heather's head. And that's the only thing that she could think about, because that should not be the first thing out of your head. The first thing out of your mouth should be, I'm so sorry to see that. My heart broke. As a mother, I'm sending my love to her. You would think she would say that. But Heather her mind is so warped now by this TV fame. That's all she can think about. Like, again, girl, what are we talking about? Yeah, it's not entertainment. This is a real life situation. This is nothing to talk about. It's compelling TV. Like, this is sad, whether it's on TV or not on TV. And it just shows me that a lot of this cast doesn't care too much for Mary. I didn't love Meredith and her answer either. Meredith is talking about, oh, well, I dealt with this too in my own family with my nephew who dealt with addiction. I'm like, Meredith, it's not about you. And we're going to talk about Meredith in just a few minutes, but I like Meredith. I've always been a fan of hers, but this season, she's really turning me off. It's very self-absorbed, very self-centered. We're talking about Mary and her son right now. It's not about you and your family. And that's no shade. Sorry for your nephew, but why can't you just say, my love goes out to Mary, my heart goes out to Mary right now and what she's dealing with? She didn't even answer the question. She made it all about herself and how she felt. I just said, it's crazy. Mary deserves better, was bothersome as the other housewives outside SLC. Yes, have more positive things to say about Mary and Robert Jr. than the actual cast of SLC. Yes, it's so true. Heather had more compassion for Jen going to prison than Mary. Oh my gosh, please clock it. I'm so over Heather now. Yes, I am too. I'm so sick of Meredith this season. Listen, Meredith is wearing me all the way out, because I'm so sick of the victim act all the time. She's always offended. It's driving me insane. But I did not like her answer or Heather's answer. They were both a chop for me. didn't like, yeah, they don't see it from Mary at all. Hey, because they want the shine. I hated the responses. Some fans gave on Twitter also. Some people really are dark spirited and evil. The SOC panel had me side eye. Yeah. We really appreciate Mary's vulnerability. Yes, we do. Mary gave more in those 6 minutes than Heather has in 5 seasons. Yeah. And, you know, I'm not trying to be funny, but Meredith, girl, this storyline this season, what is it? I'm trying to find it. Honestly, Meredith, you're giving very much friend of energy, because this season it's not clicking for me. But y'all, with all that being said, let's just get right on into it, because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. Now, one more thing before we let me just say this quickly before I forget. But y'all know I love you guys. I enjoy the engagement. I love talking to you guys in the comments, in the chat. But one thing about it, I will never, ever tolerate disrespect towards me or my fellow subscribers. So in the chat, let's keep it cute. Let's keep it nice. In the comments, let's keep it cool. I don't know if you know, but in my last Beverly Hills recap, I guess a few people were upset by my comments about Garcelle and the whole Dorit thing. And you might be in the chat now as maybe you're on a burner account because I did block you, but somebody came out their whole entire neck, cursed me all the way out over my own opinions. And I will never tolerate disrespect whatsoever, not today, not tomorrow, not in this lifetime or the next one, okay? So again, let's keep it cute. We can disagree, we can have a difference of opinions, but it is never okay to call me out my name because you don't like what I say, all right? So just want to give that PSA out there. I love y'all. For the most part, all of you guys are respectful, but there are always those 1 or 2 people who want to try it. And I want you to know that I am not the 1 or the 2, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to have to show my entire black ass, okay? But I can do it if you want me to. Listen, don't let the smile fool you, okay? But I don't want to do that. And I don't want to even have that energy on my channel, all right? But I just thought I would say that. And without further ado, again, let's really get into it, okay? But thank you guys. So, yes, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all for the love. Yes, we are all nice to each other over here. Yes, honk the horn on them, Greg. Toot, toot, boop, boop, yes. Okay. Oh, yes, we have Brooklyn. Come through. I love y'all down. And I've said this before, but yes, I think it is time for moderators. If you would like to be a moderator for upcoming lives, feel free to email me. My email is in the description box, so we can make that happen. Because I can't always catch the comments as I'm going through the recap, all right? But anyhow, let's start it off. We open up this episode with Whitney and Heather. Heather's at Whitney's house, and she has all this camping equipment. And we find out that Whitney and Heather are going to be hosting a cute girls' camp, true Beverly Hills style activity for everybody in the group. So I'm like, well, we already know that between everybody and all the arguments, what went down at Mary's house the other day, it's about to be a whole hot mess. So Heather says that based on what happened at Mary's house last week, she thinks that this camping gathering should be a fun, time, and it's what the group needs. So now she goes on to say that nobody's better at camping than her and Whitney. They're the most outdoorsy of the group. And now we see Heather going over the invitation. So Whitney's like, well, walk me through what you want to do, for camping. And Heather says relay races, sitting around the campfire, marshmallows, all that good stuff. So Whitney, so now they talk about what happened at Mary's house. And Whitney was like, girl, that was bananas. Then she says that she's not sure how she can even be in the same room as Meredith now, because we know that they almost came to blows in the last episode when Meredith snatched her phone back. Now, is it just me, or does it feel like Whitney and Meredith have been going at it since the beginning of this franchise? They have always been at each other's throats since season one. I'm like, my God. So, anyhow, now you have Whitney asking if she can invite Bronwyn. Wait, guys, can you guys see me? Wait. Wait, y'all, can you guys see me? Oh my God, that was like, let me know if you guys can see me. What in the world happened? Okay, you guys see me? Y'all, I was freaking out. Like, what the F happened? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, y'all. Y'all said, wait, can you guys see me now? Am I okay? Should I restart the live? Y'all, this is a mess, y'all. Oh my gosh. I don't know what just happened. Y'all, you said Lisa went the distance on me. You said Heather did this to me. Oh my God. Wait, should I restart it? Am I blurry? Y'all, let me know. Let me know. Do you want me to restart the live? Are we good? Can you hear me clearly? Can you see me clearly? Oh, you just kept chatting. So like, okay, I'm fine. God, listen, y'all. The devil is busy, honey. Heather and Lisa and Meredith are busy today. I have never been so embarrassed in my life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, D Movie Man, for the super chat. They're trying to silence the doll. They are, honey. Child, oh my gosh, I have never been so embarrassed. Thank y'all so much. Oh my Lord, we were having a key in the chat. Was it all black when I left? Child, I've never been so embarrassed before. Oh my Lord. Okay, guys, apologies. Lord, okay. Okay, thank you guys for understanding. I appreciate this. I'm actually mortified, if I'm being really honest. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm embarrassed. I like for things to be perfect when I'm like talking to you guys. I don't like for things to go awry. So that's why I feel a little bit out of sorts. But thank you all for bearing with me. Okay. Damn you, Heather. Okay. Okay, all right, we're back. We are back. Thank y'all are 373 of y'all in the chat. Y'all are the MVPs for real. Thank y'all. Okay. Jesus. Um okay, so sorry about that. So anyhow, we're at the part where they're talking about what happened at Mary's house last week. And okay, so Heather says that she doesn't know if she doesn't know Bronwyn well enough to know if she likes or hates her, right? Now, my issue with that statement is, Heather, you're just a hater because there's no reason for you to dislike Bronwyn the way that you do. Bronwyn has not done anything to you. You tried to call her out in episode 2 for no reason, and then all of a sudden you're talking about you don't know if you like her to love or hate her. Like, girl, what are we talking about here? You're just a hater. That's all it is. It's jealousy. You're threatened by Bronwyn. The real issue is that Heather is angry that Bronwyn is fitting into this group really well and seamlessly, and she had to work and strive and kiss all this ASS, Lisa's mainly, to get in the cool group to be accepted, and Bronwyn has not had to do that. I think that Heather resents the fact that Lisa was actually sweating Bronwyn when they met. Remember in the first episode, Lisa says that when she met Bronwyn kind of looked at her like, okay, girl, and who are you? Like, and you know, like, and like, what's this? Like, girl, I don't need to be friends with you. And I think that Heather is jealous of the fact that Bronwyn could take or leave Lisa, and she's so obsessed with Lisa. That's just my humble opinion. Yeah, Heather looks crazy. She's worried about Heather's Bronwyn's prenup. Like, it's weird. It's very weird behavior, but I didn't like that statement for her to say that she doesn't know whether she likes or hates Bronwyn. Girl, you don't like Bronwyn. Let's just be honest. And 2, you have no reason to have an issue with Bronwyn. Bronwyn has not done anything to you. Period. So now, Whitney's talking about you did a great job accepting her apology because sorries don't come easily out of you. And I said, now, Whitney, why are you applauding Heather for being a somewhat decent human being? I don't know why you're saying, oh, that was so great of you. All Heather did was just say, you know what, Bronwyn, we can start over again. Let's start on a clean slate, because she knew that it looked bad had she kept up this beef between them, because this beef makes no sense. It's unwarranted. But I said, Whitney, I don't understand why we're now applauding a fish for swimming. Heather did not do anything groundbreaking for you to be saying, oh, you know, that's great. Like, what are we talking about? It's just very irritating how they want to prop Heather up when she's giving us nothing. Heather worrying about what people think about her. Child, I'm so sick of Whitney too. The cousins are fake. They're very fake. The beef is not over in Heather's book. No, it's not over. It's not. Child, oh Lord, you said she's jealous because her face looks like it's been sat on. My God, my God, today. Y'all better stop before they get this live to go off again. So now Heather says that here's the thing between her and Bronwyn, nothing's changed. And I said, yeah, girl, I know. We know that you still hate Bronwyn for no reason. So now she says that she's not here to police Bronwyn's friendships or be in a bad space. Then she goes on to say that between her and Whitney, she feels like Bronwyn is sneaky. Now, nobody is sneakier than you. The same woman who lied about her black eye for a season and a half, she lied and said that she was drunk and banged her eye on the faucet when they were on that trip. Remember that? You flat out lied. You had folks thinking that somebody in production hit you or went upside your head. You had us thinking that it was a whole host of other reasons. You sat up there and lied. And now you want to call Bronwyn sneaky? Not only are you sneaky, you're a liar. You have no right. Heather has no grounds to be judging Bronwyn this hard. It's weird. Heather has no story. Yeah, she's not. She's very direct. I agree. She also blamed the producers. She did and lied about her age. Now, I'm not, it's no shade, but Heather, I don't know why you think that you're doing anything by lying about your age. We can tell how old you are. Whether or not you say it or not, we can tell. And again, it's no shade, but you might as well just say it and come clean. We know that you're not in your 20s or 30s. Like, I'm just saying, Heather. Child, Bronwyn's also way braver than Heather. She is. We all knew it was Jen. Yeah, I know. We all knew it was Jen too. She lied to sell that book. Now, wait a second. I remember there was an article that came out around season 2 or season 3. It was right around the time when Heather had announced her book, Bad Mormon. But there was an article saying that it's all a lie about her mom not talking to her. They were saying that her family still talks to her. Like, you know how she has her siblings? She has like 6 siblings. 3 of them are no longer Mormon. The other 3 are still Mormon. But the article was saying that all of her family still talks to her, allegedly, and that she's playing this whole thing up about how she's been shunned from the family. And they're like, that's not true. They were saying that no, her mom still talks to her. All of her siblings still talk to her. Maybe not as much, but for her to say that, she has no family, that's not true. So with Heather, it's just a big bag of lies. Heather turned 50 this year. She's in her early to mid 50s, child. Like Karen said, Robin is a hard 40. Listen, my dad used to always say, he would say, they look like a rough customer. Heather and Whitney remind me of when Teresa and Melissa were friends for a season. Trust that they'll have beef next season. Heather's giving me Mia with the lies. Child, just a mess. So now we have Heather saying that she wants to be friends with people where if she gets up from the table, she's not wondering if they're talking behind her back. Now, I'm sorry, Heather, but that does not stand. When you gossip about people immediately, the minute somebody's back is turned, you're stirring the pot, you're instigating. And let's also not forget that you're on this cast with Lisa Barlow of all people. Lisa's always talking about somebody. So the audacity for you to say that about Bronwyn, I just don't understand it. And Heather, I'm going to predict this. I'll bet you guys money that at this reunion, Heather is going to be backpedaling to the 10th degree. I will not be surprised if Heather does a complete 180 due to the fan backlash, because nobody's on Heather's side. Nobody. If you check social media, we're all like, girl, what the F are you doing? Even Heather's diehard fans don't see it for her this season. So I will bet you money. And also, since Heather's main thing is she wants to be liked, people not liking her is going to send her over the edge. So trust and believe we're going to see her backpedaling, crying at this reunion, begging for Bronwyn's forgiveness. I'll bet you guys money. Yep, I was going to say that too. Exactly. Brooke, have you tried Vita? Yeah, I have tried Vita. I had it at BravoCon. I have Vita tequila. It's pretty good. Like her and John did a nice job with the tequila. But yeah, I will bet you guys that at this reunion, Heather's going to do a complete 180 due to the fan backlash. So now we see, oh, thank you so much for the super chat, James Potts the third. Heather's going to get this Sheree Kim treatment at the reunion. Both of them were on the ropes. Oh, absolutely. Season 10, oh, absolutely. Sheree was getting ate up about She by Sheree still not being out. Kim was getting hemmed up for all the lies that she told that season. So yeah, this will be Heather's season at the reunion this time around, where she is fighting for her life, because 90% of the viewers are not on Heather's side. They're all on Bronwyn's side. So be very clear about that. Heather is seeing in real time that she made a mistake. We see how Tamra changed her tune at the OC reunion. For all my OC watchers, Tamra was going off on Shannon, calling her a drunk, this and that. Then all of a sudden she saw the fans were against her. Then all of a sudden it was a completely different story. So I will bet you guys money that Heather pulls the same mess at this reunion too. So now we go to the next scene and we see Meredith at this art gallery. Now, Meredith, while you're wearing me out, this outfit you had on, you ate that. She looked good. I said, come through. I mean, Meredith is a pretty woman. She always has a cute outfit on. This outfit, I mean, chef's kiss, she ate. But Miss Meredith, I'm going to have to whack you several good times because you tried it. So Meredith says in her confessional that she thought that her and Mary had a solid friendship, but friends don't do what Mary did. I said, and what exactly did Mary do to you? I'll wait. So Meredith says that friends don't just start yelling and picking at you. They pull you aside one-on-one. So now she goes on to say that she expected Mary to reach out to her, but since Mary didn't do that, she decided that she would be the bigger person and invite Mary to the gallery. So now she goes on to say that she hasn't done anything to Mary except for support her for the 4 years that they've been friends when nobody else did. Now, Meredith, let me just ask you this one simple question, and you guys feel free to answer in the chat. Meredith, did you have Mary's back when Jenny Wynn from season 2, that racist flop, was on the show for one season and threw that glass at Mary at that season finale party? You just sat there and watched. If I remember correctly, nobody had Mary's back. Nobody came to Mary's aid when she did that. At the reunion, when they were talking about the whole Mary versus Jenny feud, I don't remember you stepping in and supporting Mary. You were sitting there on mute. So I don't want to hear all this talk about how you were Mary's biggest supporter. Were you and Mary friends? I'm sure you guys had a cute lunch here and there, but don't act like you were sitting up there. You were not her ride or die. And also, Meredith, like a lot of you guys pointed out in the chat, I have an issue with you acting like Mary just treated you so poorly when your best friend of 10 years, your sister, Lisa Barlow, sat up there on that hot mic in season 2, called you everything but a child of God, said that you were the biggest whore, effed half of New York, said that you and your husband don't have that kind of money. You guys are always renting. Seth has no job. So you forgave that, but you're mad at Mary for putting her foot down in her house about what's allowed and what's not allowed? I'm just confused, sis, because I'm not understanding how you're that mad at Mary when Mary, in my opinion, did not do anything wrong to you. You want to be the victim, but I digress. I was so irritated about that. Meredith did not say anything about the whole Jenny Wynn stuff in season 2. Jenny Wynn was a full-blown racist. And then she threw that glass at Mary and nobody said anything. Nobody went to Mary's aid. They were all hugging and banding around Jenny Wynn like she was the victim. So for her to say, oh, I was her biggest supporter for 4 years when nobody else was, Meredith, that's not true. It's very irritating. And again, Meredith, I'm sorry, girl, but I have to whack you because you're really trying it. So anyhow, we do see a parallel scene as Meredith is waiting for Mary to come. Mary is still at home, and we see that she's checking on her son. She wants to know if he's home. She goes to his room. She's like, "Hey, hun, like, how are you?" Open the door. And I guess either he's sleeping or he's not home, but she decides to leave. But we do see Mary say in her confessional that she feels like she needs to focus on her son because she knows that something's wrong. She says that she's close to him, she can feel him, she's always thinking about him 24/7, and she feels like she's been ignoring him, and she hopes that this whole thing goes away about what she's feeling about what's going on. And we all know that he has a substance abuse problem, which we talk about later on at the end of the episode. But Mary does say that she does want to talk to her son about what's going on. She wants to ask him the honest truth and get the gospel from him. She's not trying to brush it over anymore. She wants to get to the root of the issue, and I understand that. So now we get back to Meredith still at the art gallery. It's 40 minutes later. She's still waiting. Mary still hasn't shown up. And Meredith says that under the best of circumstances, 40 minutes of being late is still impolite. But in these circumstances, since her and Mary are on the outs right now, this is a very strong message that Mary is sending out to her. So now we see Meredith FaceTime her kids, Brooks and Chloe, and she's like, "I'm irritated. Mary still isn't here. I'm being the bigger person. You know, I'm worried that her behavior is unusual right now. I am worried about her. There might be something else going on." And, you know, she feels like there's something bigger that Mary's not sharing. Now, Meredith, I'm going to talk about this in just a minute. But if you really have this feeling about your friend and that something else is going on, then why wouldn't you say that? Why wouldn't you express that? If you really are concerned about a friend, you would not be coming on to your friend this harshly and so nasty. But just my opinion. So we see Mary finally show up. It's an hour later. And it's tense between her and Meredith. They don't hug. There's no kiss, just a very dry hello. That's it. So Meredith says to her, "Mary, are you okay?" And Mary's like, "In terms of what?" So Meredith says, "Well, in terms of life, like, how are you? Like, are you all right?" So Mary says, "I'm a bit bothered, but I'm good." Now, let me just stop right here. Personally, if I claim that you and I are great friends and I know that you're not acting how you normally act, I would see through the facade of you saying that you're fine. If I were Meredith, I would have pressed Mary and said, "No, girl, something seems off. Tell me how you're really doing. Let's go sit down over here and talk about it because I feel like something else is going on and I want to help you. I want to hear you out." That's what I would have said if I claimed to be this friend that Meredith claims to be to Mary. The fact that Meredith brushed it off as fast as she did tells me that it's a very superficial relationship and that it's very one-sided. In my humble opinion, because if I were so concerned about my friend, you telling me that you're fine would not suffice. I would keep pressing, right? I don't want to tell you my tea exactly. Yeah, I agree. Like, I would still call her text to say I'm running late, though. Yeah, no, listen. I think that Mary should have said, "Hey, girl, I'm running late. Something happened with my son. I'm going to be there." I do feel like Mary was wrong for that. Mary should have said, because I'm a big stickler for being on time. I love punctuality. I can't stand lateness. So yes, Mary was wrong for that. I'm not letting her off the hook about that. But I feel like when Mary came in the gallery, for Mary to keep saying that she feels like something is off, I would have said, "Now, you know, I just feel like there's more that you're not telling me. Do you want to share?" And before anybody says, "Well, you know, Meredith shouldn't press anybody about their tea." In this case, it's not true because Mary said all throughout this episode how much she pretty much would have appreciated if people would ask her what's going on. Because she kept saying, if these ladies knew what I was going through, then they wouldn't come at me so hard. Did she not say that? To me, I can read between the lines. I take from that that Mary actually does want somebody to ask her what's really going on. That's how I took it. Can you guys see me all right? Let me know. Can you guys hear me all right? Let me know. If not asking for someone's tea, if you're if you're genuinely concerned, it's not asking for tea. It's the truth. Hopefully they can fix it at the reunion. Yes, I hope so too. Y'all, can y'all hear me? Am I good? It's blurry all of a sudden. Oh my gosh, Lord have mercy. Jesus, Lord. Get me today. Are we good? Okay, y'all. You know, I feel like I'm having a day. Can y'all hear me now? Are we good? I'm good? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, we're back. All right. Thank you guys. Lord Jesus, I just need you to let this go for another 50 minutes to an hour. If you could just let us be clear for the next hour, I would appreciate that. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Won't he do it? I bind the spirit and the demonic forces coming against this live. Okay. Amen. Yes, that was Jenny Wynn and Jen Shah and Heather, and that was everybody. But we are back. It's Meredith too. So, where was I? But yeah, personally, I feel like if I were Meredith, I would have said, listen, girl, I don't need all the tea. I don't need all your business, but is there something else going on? Because I feel like something is awry. That's just me. And also, you know why they're all full of it? Because there were articles surfacing before filming even started about Mary's son and his addiction. So you guys know good and damn well they were gossiping about that behind Mary's back as a cast before the cameras went up. So if you had heard these rumors about her son and Mary's acting a bit strange or stranger than usual, I would have reached out and said, girl, how are you really doing? Because I've been hearing all this stuff. Wouldn't you do the same? Let me know, right? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Did I? Oh, I don't want to miss a super chat. Oh, thank you so much, Christopher Brunson, for the super chat. Thank you. At least you're looking fabulous, Brooke. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. That's the most important thing, right? Oh, why did my screen clear up after Brooke's prayer? Well, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. So, anyhow, sorry, I lost my spot in my notes. So, Meredith says that she thought Mary was out of character. And now Mary says, but why would you think I kicked you out when I invited you to my house? I've never seen you walk out of anybody's home ever since I've known you. So Meredith says back, well, I didn't feel welcome in your home, and I don't stay where I don't feel welcome, and I don't think that you would either. Now, Meredith, what we're not going to do is twist this up. I agree that I would not stay where I don't feel welcome either. But in this case, this is not that, and you know it. Mary did not kick you out of her home. They played the tapes back. Mary said to both you and Angie, I think because Mary was looking directly at Meredith when she said it, maybe Meredith took it the wrong way, but Mary said out of her mouth, Meredith and Angie, shut up, be quiet, stop yelling in my house. If you guys can't listen, then you guys can both leave. That was a way to tell them to be quiet and stop all that hollering in her home. That's it, and that's all. She said the same thing to Angie too. This was not directly towards Meredith. This was to both her and Angie. For Meredith to take it the wrong way, it shows me that Meredith wants to be offended. And I agree. I think the miscommunication happened because Meredith's hearing issue. I could see that, but I just wish that she would hear Mary out. Meredith was losing her argument to Angie, and she used what Mary said as an excuse to leave and play victim again. There it is. There it is. That's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. AKA Hilton, thank you for the super chat. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope you and your family had a happy Thanksgiving too. Thank you. But yeah, I didn't like that. I just feel like Mary clearly said Meredith and Angie. It was not directly towards Meredith. And she said, if you guys can't be quiet, then you can leave. That was, she did not say, get out my house. That's not what happened. Meredith is spinning this to paint her own narrative. And I do agree that Meredith loves to storm out when she's losing an argument. She does it all the time. We can trace it back to season 1. She always does that. All that I'm disengaging, that's her way of saying that I'm losing the argument. I'm not getting my way in this argument, so let me go. That's what it feels like. She was yelling at Angie more than Meredith. Yeah, she was. You're wild if you think screaming in someone's home is okay. Exactly. And let's think about this. If we've seen Meredith kick people out of her dinners. Remember what she told Angie? She said, you can leave last season at that dinner in Palm Springs. So it's okay for Meredith to kick somebody out of her dinner when she feels disrespected or somebody's yelling and screaming and cursing. But when somebody says, hey, this is my home, please don't scream or else you guys can go. Now it's an issue. I don't like the double standards with Meredith. I don't. But anyhow, Mary says, Meredith, I would not do that to you. For me, that's not a healthy friendship. So you have Meredith saying that, well, I don't think it's not a healthy friendship either. And it's obvious that you've been harboring some hostility towards me for quite some time. The unmitigated gall for you to say that Mary has harboring ill will towards you when you know good and damn well that that's not the case whatsoever. Mary is very blunt and she can be very rude. She's very direct. If Mary had some lingering issue with you, Meredith, she would have addressed you a long time ago. This is a cop-out. You know that you're wrong. You know that you over-exaggerated. You know that you had no reason to storm out of her home like that. So now you want to act like she has some secret animosity towards you. I was so mad. I said, how dare you? Meredith always has some excuse. It's always an excuse. There's always a justification for her bad behavior. But the minute she feels slighted, she wants to blow it out of proportion. I was really annoyed by that. She was out of order. I agree. Yep, that's the real issue. The real issue is that she's mad at Mary and Angie being friends. That's it, and that's all. And she wants, this is her way of punishing Mary for being friends with her enemy. When it was okay when Meredith has been friends with Mary's enemies. Because again, Meredith, where were you when Jenny went through that glass at her in season 2? I'll wait. You were nowhere to be found. So that was okay. You didn't have her back then. So that was fine. That's being a good friend. But because Mary's friends with somebody that you don't like, and if we're being honest with you, Meredith, with this whole issue between you, Angie, and Sean, you're in the wrong here because Sean said nothing wrong. He was not talking about your son, and you know it. Just very annoying. Mary has been nasty for seasons, and now all of a sudden the ladies are supposed to care about her and her son. Well, I'll tell you this. I think that being a decent human being, if you hear about somebody and their son is battling addiction, you wouldn't have any compassion. I don't want to believe that somebody's so heartless where they can't have basic empathy and sympathy for somebody going through it with their child. And let's also talk about how when Lisa shared that her son, Jack, had that health issue in Colombia on his mission trip. Remember that when they were on the Milwaukee trip? Mary went over and gave Lisa a hug. And Lisa and Mary have always been on the outs. So for Mary to show compassion about her child having a health scare, that's compassion. That's called being a decent human being. And they've all gone low with each other. Mary's not a saint, but neither is Lisa. Lisa's been awful to people. Lisa called her best friend a whore and broke and this, that, and the third. And people still love her. So, I mean, I don't really want to hear all this stuff about how Mary has been so nasty. They've all been nasty to each other. Heather is nasty, and she's a pot stirrer, and she lied about who gave her that black eye. She had folks' jobs in jeopardy. She could have had somebody in production fired off of her lie. So not too much about how Mary's been so mean. Yeah, she has been mean, but so have the other women. And they've been Karens on top of that. Let's talk about that. I'm just saying, if Mary has been able to show compassion towards their children and what they've been going through, they can show some compassion to her too. Again, case in point. Mary showed compassion to Lisa about Jack falling ill and having his health issue earlier on in this season. Just saying. So Mary says, well, clearly you have animosity towards me too. And now Meredith says, well, Angie was coming after me and you told me repeatedly that you would always stand up for me. And instead you jumped on the bandwagon. So here's where Mary gets upset, rightfully so. And Mary says, I don't jump on bandwagons. That's not what happened. Now, Meredith, you've got to stop talking in very coded language to say that you were attacked. That there was no attack. Angie was having a simple conversation. And Meredith, you're the type of person that I'd be afraid to confront because the way you would twist it up to victimize yourself. The fact that you can't stand to have a debate with somebody or a difference of opinions without getting angry and then saying that you were attacked by it, that's alarming. You need to be able to have conversations that might not be going your way and still be a grown woman and say, okay, that's fine. Angie talked to you in a very measured tone. You're the one who got nasty with her. She was stating facts about what happened between her husband and you being upset with him over what he said. And she said, well, no, that's not what happened. He said this, this, and this. You took it the wrong way. I don't like how Meredith is always saying that somebody attacked her. She needs to drop that word from her vocabulary. It's annoying. I don't like that. It's very much victim. No, yes, Angie was yelling, but that was after Meredith started raising her voice. The conversation was fine. Angie said, well, I'm talking to you calmly. And that's when Meredith got angry. And that's when Angie got mad. But in the beginning of that conversation, Angie was very, very cool when she talked to her. It only escalated because of Meredith, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a very loaded word. It's, yes, over a rumor that she started. Exactly. So now Mary says, I feel like you walking out of my house like that, you severed our friendship. So then she says, Meredith, you're not always the victim. It's not always somebody coming against you. Sometimes you're the one at fault. I said, please clock her again. I said, exactly. Please tell her again, because that's the truth. Meredith, you're not always the victim. And in this case between you and Angie, you low-key started all this stuff, saying the rumors and the nastiness about and we could talk about the husbands. You started all that last season. And while you weren't the one who splashed out that rumor about Sean having a boyfriend, you insinuated that. And then, Monica and Whitney took over that, but you put the whole thing in motion by saying that you knew stuff about Sean. So please, it's a lot of throwing rocks and then hiding your hand. So now, of course, Meredith is upset by Mary. And now she says, I come here extending the olive branch, inviting you here in hopes that we could resolve this. So she goes on to say, you showed up an hour late. And Mary's like, you know what, girl, goodbye. Have a good day. Then she says, I think Mary said, girl, go find a life. So now Meredith says, you used me for 3 years. Meredith, I was floored by this whole entire exchange. I was floored by it. The minute Mary told you the truth about yourself, how you always play victim, you snapped yet again. It's the truth. There's no other way to put it. I've been trying to spare you in prior recaps and prior seasons, but there's a pattern with you. Anytime you don't want to hear something, you get mad, you lash out, and you walk off and say that you were attacked. Mary did not kick you out of her house. And instead of you acknowledging it, now you want to flip it and say that she harbors some secret ill will towards you. What are we doing here? Now, Mary, I will say this. It wouldn't have killed you to apologize for being an hour late. Yes, you are going through stuff with your son. I understand that. My heart goes out to you about that. But you could have said, you know what, Meredith, I am sorry for showing up late. It's just the decent thing to do. And I can listen, I can always, I feel like I'm a pretty fair person, but I do feel like Mary dropped the ball by not saying, girl, I'm sorry for being late. I was dealing with something, because I'd be pissed too if somebody were an hour late. I'd be livid. I'm annoyed if somebody's 20 minutes late. So I do think that she should have said, I'm sorry for being late, and try to maybe get the conversation back on track, in my humble opinion. Mary always tells us like it is. Yes, I agree. Or maybe cancel the meeting if you know you're going to be that late. I agree. If anybody had Mary waiting for an hour, she'd be pissed too. Yeah, I agree. We know that Mary would have been livid, or she would have left. So I do feel like Mary dropped the ball by not apologizing for being late, because that was unacceptable. So now we cut to Mary's confessional, and she says that she's been carrying a big cross with her son, Robert Jr., and the fact that Meredith has no idea what she's going through speaks volumes about their friendship. Then she says, bye, I'm good, I don't need you. Now, I know I said this a few minutes ago. I feel like it's a double-edged sword. I do think that Meredith should have pressed a little more to find out what's going on with Mary. But I do feel like Mary, knowing that you're going through all this, I do feel like it wouldn't have hurt you to say, Meredith, I don't want to get into it, but I am going through something quite traumatic with my son right now. I can tell you more later, but I'm just on edge about that. Because all throughout the episode, Mary does make mention of how the ladies don't know what she's going through. And when people do that, that's a clear sign that they want people to ask. They want people to know what they're going through. They want that support. And I feel like Mary is crying out for somebody to ask her what's going on. So I do feel like, yes, Meredith should have pressed a bit more, but Mary should have also opened up her mouth and said, girl, I'm actually going through something really hard right now with my son. I'll tell you more later, but it's weighing on me, and that's why things aren't that great right now. That's what I would have done. And yeah, I mean, I could say that she should have refused to offer to meet up. Production knew Mary would be late. I wouldn't wait 30 minutes for someone being late. Yeah, I wouldn't either. They need to fix this because they are a good duo. So now we're at Lisa Barlow and Angie meeting up with their kids. Angie's daughter Electra and Lisa's youngest son Henry, they're meeting up to go to the aquarium. I have to say, I think that both kids are just adorable. Henry seems like such a sweet kid. He was having a good time during this scene, like just really sweet. So now they're at the aquarium. They're looking at the snake exhibit, and we cut to Lisa in her confessional, and she says that her and Angie were super close at one point. They had a real friendship. Angie would call her all the time, and she just wants to repair things with her friend because she misses Angie. So now Lisa goes on to say that she wants to repair things. Oh, she says that they've never been in this place before, and she hopes that they can change things and mend fences. So now we cut to Angie in her confessional, and she says that she was shocked to get the invitation from Lisa because they've been really close. She was Lisa's confidant. She was always there for her, and she's pretty sure that Lisa has been missing her. So they finished with the snake exhibit, and now they're over by, like, I think the sharks or the jellyfish or the eels, but they're sitting down, and now the kids go off to play. So Lisa starts it off, and before I get into this, may I just quickly say this conversation should have happened 8 episodes ago. This Lisa and Angie beef went on way too long. I don't know why we're talking about this now in episode 11 when they fell out in episode 2. I was like, we could have resolved this a lot earlier had Lisa picked up the phone and called up Angie before the Palm Springs trip, in my opinion. So Lisa starts it off, and typical Lisa, honey. Even though we're live, I can still do my Lisa impersonation. So Lisa says, "Listen, Angie, I know we've gotten off track, but like I've really, really missed you." I should have done the whole live with Lisa's voice. But she says that it's been a loss for her too, not talking to Angie. And then she says that after her Bezos party, that's when everything went left. So she says that Angie and Whitney being friends doesn't impact her, but it's just that she says that her and Whitney being friends doesn't impact their friendship. So now Angie interjects and says, "Well, I feel like you don't trust me." Lisa says, "I created distance between us because I was hurt." And Angie says, "Well, I want to know what I did to you." And one thing that I've noticed about both Lisa and Meredith, anytime you call them out about anything, they get so defensive and their voices start getting raised, and it drives me insane. And when it comes to Lisa especially, Lisa is somebody who can only care about her feelings. When it comes to your feelings, she can't understand you, doesn't care. It drives me insane. But Lisa starts going on about how she was so hurt. And I'm like, Lisa, other people are hurt too. It's not just you. So she says that she was hurt. And then she brings up the bad mom comment. And she says that when Heather told her about that bad mom comment, she told Heather that she was going to talk to Angie about that face-to-face directly. Now, Lisa, we saw throughout the season so far that you've had ample time to call Angie up and address what was actually said about your parenting skills, and you refused to do that. So I don't want to hear it about how you actually were going to call Angie up and not listen to Heather, because you had Heather in your ear for a long time. Because again, this could have been resolved a long time ago. Hey, Lenlu007, thank you for the super chat. Here's to being respectful of other folks' time. Oh, thank you. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you so much. So, sorry for losing my train of thought. So, she says, we were real friends. And now we have Angie interject and she says, girl, did I talk badly about you? I did make a snarky comment, but I never said that you were a bad mom. I think you're a great mom. Again, I never said that. And Lisa, that's why my issue with you has been, why can't you address Heather and her being a pot stirrer? Because Heather set this whole thing up in motion, putting a wedge between you and Angie K. Because the fact that you believed Heather about that bad mom comment, the fact that you didn't even call Angie up right away and say, girl, what was said? Because Heather told me this. What's the truth? This could have been solved a long time ago, but I already said that. We already know that. So let me move on from that point. So now Lisa says that she's defended Angie and Sean so much, and she wants Angie to have her back a bit more. So she goes on to say that she feels like Angie has been listening to Whitney a lot. And Angie says, no, I haven't, but I do feel like when it comes to you, I have to prove about me being a loyal friend to you. So Lisa says, no, that's not the case at all. And I said, Lisa, that's a lie. You do expect people to prove themselves to you. That's the long and the short of it. Why are we don't have to sit up here and fib. You definitely do have that attitude of folks need to prove themselves to you in order for you to be their friend. So Lisa's going on and on about Whitney lying on her all the time, her businesses, her marriage, and she's tired of it. And she just wanted Angie to understand how hurtful that's been to her. So Lisa, I'm confused as to how you can't understand Bronwyn's point of view, because Bronwyn pretty much said the same thing to you in Palm Springs. Bronwyn was begging for you to understand her side of things between the beef that she has with Heather. Bronwyn was in tears saying, Lisa, she's calling me two-faced. As my friend, can you please stand up for me and say, that's not the Bronwyn that I know. That's not my friend. She's not like that. You sat there and looked at Bronwyn like she had 10 heads. Now to hear you cry to Angie about having your back when folks speak ill of you, I said, the irony of it all. So you can only understand it when it's you, but when it's somebody else, you can't understand where they're coming from. When it comes to Lisa, it's always a one-sided friendship. The absolute gall. I just said, am I in the Twilight Zone? Because Bronwyn had this conversation with you 3 episodes ago, and you sat there and played dumb. But now, since your feelings are hurt, you want somebody to defend you? I'm like, what is going on? I couldn't believe it. Lisa she is exhausting. Teresa 2.0, professional victim. Yes. Rules for me, not rules for everybody else, not for me, is Lisa's. Yes. She's not narcissistic. That's why Lisa can't understand anyone's perspective but her own. Very true. Very true. And this scene was clear to me. So now Angie apologizes. And I was waiting for Lisa to also apologize to her too, but it's Lisa Barlow, so that's wishful thinking on my end. But I don't care for everybody having to kowtow and walk on eggshells around Lisa and her feelings, but Lisa does not give you the same respect back. It's exhausting. Just this, she's beyond self-absorbed. If there's another word above self-absorbed, self-centered, let me know. That's what Lisa is. But Angie gives her point of view, and she says, sometimes, Lisa, I feel like you don't understand where I'm coming from, and I love you, but I need you to treat me differently because I am sensitive when it comes to friendships. So Angie shares how growing up, dealing with her mom, before she passed away, her mom had a lot of issues, and she always felt like she had to protect her mom's feelings, and she feels like that in friendships now. So she goes on to say that she does that a lot with Lisa, but she needs Lisa to acknowledge her feelings as well. And I said, no, Angie, the people in hell want ice water, and guess what? They're never going to get it. That's a tall order to think that Lisa is going to acknowledge your feelings and how, sensitive you are. Because when it comes to Lisa, it's all about her and how she feels. And that's all that matters. But wishful thinking on your part to think that things will change, because they won't. But they hug it out, and we're gonna see if Lisa and Angie's friendship stays intact. Now, the last I checked on social media, Lisa, Angie, and Meredith are still on the outs. So I doubt that they're cool again. But Angie was reading Lisa for Filth about that Lisa's borrowed G-Wagon. I said, not Angie reading down. But yeah, it looks like present day, they're still not cool. So we'll see how things go at this reunion. Lisa does not want to know where anyone comes from. Yeah, she doesn't. When TJ said you can ask Santa for a new car, yes. Lisa, Lord help you because I can't. The other word is Lisa, yes. So now it's the day of Heather and Whitney's camping excursion, and they're already there at the campgrounds. Everybody else is getting ready. So we see Mary at home, and as she's getting dressed, we cut to her confessional, and she's talking about what's going on with her and her son, Robert Jr. So she says that it's been a couple of days and she still has not talked to Robert Jr. She says he's always gone, he's never home, or if he is home, he's locked away in his room, sleeping. Basically, she can't reach him. So she says that she looks at him and sees her baby, and she just wants her baby back. And again, when I tell y'all, my heart was beating out of his chest, because we know that in the last scene of this episode, stuff is really about to hit the fan. So we're all waiting for that conversation. But my heart was going like this. It was beating. I was like, oh my gosh. You would have thought that I was going through this too, because I'm on pins and needles for Mary. But it's a sad situation. And, we'll talk about this later on, but shout out to Mary for even showing this. And I've seen a lot of discourse on social media about, well, she should have kept this private. But when you think about it, you're on a TV show to show your life. Say what you want, but that scene is going to help other people who are going through this with loved ones, especially parents with kids, in my humble opinion. But again, I'm not going to jump ahead, but shout out to Mary, because my heart goes out to her, and to have to do this on a public stage can't be easy, but she is helping more people than she realizes. But anyhow, we see everybody on their way to the camping excursion. Bronwyn, Lisa, and Meredith are in one car together. And Bronwyn says that this will be her first time camping. She never did sleepaway camp. And Lisa and Meredith both went to sleepaway camp when they were younger. And you have Lisa talking about sleepaway camp is great because you make lifelong friends and business connections. I said, girl, you were thinking about business connections at 8 years old? I said, okay, Lisa. So now Meredith and Bronwyn both laugh that they're surprised they got invited today, because Bronwyn's on the outs with Heather, Meredith is on the outs with Whitney, and they're the ones hosting this trip, hosting this activity. So now Bronwyn says that she heard a lot of stuff from Whitney about Heather, and Bronwyn says that she was uncomfortable going to today's activity because she has no idea where she stands with the ladies, and she has no idea where they all stand with each other because of what went down at Mary's house last week. So now you have Lisa is calling out. Oh, Bronwyn makes a joke saying that she's only eating the food that she brought in case the other food is poisoned. And that's smart. When you're around folks who don't like you, you got to be really careful about eating their food, okay? And as much as I love food, I'm not too quick to be eating from everybody because some folks might slip a little something in something. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. So now we cut to Mary and Angie on their way, and Mary's telling Angie all about her meetup with Meredith. And Mary's like, yeah, she got mad at me for me being over an hour late. And Mary had me screaming. She said the audacity for her to say that to me. Now, Mary, girl, I'm on your side, but you did try it being late. Okay. The point remains being late is rude. End of story. If you agree to meet up with somebody at a specific time, show up on time or don't show up at all. Just my 2 cents. I wouldn't say too much with all that dog poo on the floor, Bronwyn. Oh, that's true. That's a good point. As a child with substance abuse history, this helped open up a lot of dialogue between my mom and I. Oh, wow. God bless you. Thank you for sharing that. We would communicate about it in a way that wasn't me and you. It would be open and honest. Oh, well, God bless. And again, I think that Mary's scene is going to help a lot more people than she knows. But Mary goes on to say that if she wanted her to be on time, then Meredith needs to stop renting in Park City and come to Salt Lake where she'd be there on time because she wouldn't be so far away. Now, again, Mary, whether or not Meredith lives an hour away or not, the point still remains. You agreed to meet her at that time, so you need to adhere to that rule and be there on time. Period. End of story. Anything past 10 minutes is rude, and you were in the wrong for that. And Mary, I gotta just quickly whack you because sometimes you do act like you can't get checked because you also try it too, sis. And again, Mary, I'm with you when you're right. But when it comes to you showing up an hour late, that's unacceptable. Yes, Meredith is reaching about you kicking her out her house. That did not happen. I'm on your side about that. But the point still remains, when it comes to being late, that's unacceptable. I'm just saying. So now Angie says, she acted like she was so worked up at your house, but she still took that gift. I said, oh, clock it. Meredith Mark said, I'm leaving here with something. I'm from around the way. Listen, I mean, a Tiffany journal is a cute gift. I get it. So now Angie says, I thought she was going to take your Armani statue too. And then Mary says, where would she put it in her Airbnb? I said, ooh. So now we're back at the campgrounds with Whitney and Heather. They're setting everything up. And we see Brittany arrive first. Now, a quick side note. Did y'all see Brittany's ex-stepdaughter airing her out on TikTok the other day? I said, girl, what? Baby, the ex-stepdaughter said that woman is insufferable. And I'm not surprised. She's over here chasing behind a man who does not want her, putting a man who does not want her before her children, and thinks that that's okay. She needs to go and see the lady respectfully. But I'm not surprised that people, especially her ex-stepdaughter, is saying, oh my gosh, that woman is a complete nut job. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Her ex-stepdaughter's on TikTok. Uh-huh. And she's like, yeah, me and my dad are thrilled that he's no longer married to her. Yes, she said that was Brittany 2 faces ago. Yes, yes, yes. Yup, all her men look the same. She has a type. She does. Because he looks similar to Jared Osman. Brooke, did you see the tweet where it said how Bronwyn is a baby Heather and how Bronwyn was thirsty to tell that info to Lisa? Do I think that Bronwyn is a baby Heather? Yeah. No, I disagree with that only because Bronwyn is direct, whereas Heather is not. Heather is passive aggressive. Heather will throw stones, will throw rocks, hide her hands. Bronwyn will own up to when she has talked about you, when she has said something. Bronwyn, no, I can't classify Bronwyn and Heather in the same category. Mm-mm. Heather wishes that Bronwyn were like her. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. You like my wine glass? Thank you. And I have my Sauvignon Blanc in here. Okay. I need a drink after the live kept going out late earlier. Yeah, no. Heather and Bronwyn are not in the same league. No, sorry. That's a no. Heather wishes. Jared is looking for the limelight. Heather is a behind the scene gutter snipe. Okay, exactly. Honestly, and don't Jared is kind of cute. Jared's not a bad looking man. He's very goofy and clownish, and he doesn't like her. But yeah, no, Jared is not a bad looking man. But this whole situation with Brittany is a mess. Heather is a big pick me. She is a pick me. Something's up with Bronwyn too. I don't get the baby talk all the time. Well, give it another season. I'm sure that we'll see another side of Bronwyn after this season wraps. I'm sure next season we'll see more of Bronwyn's full personality, because after people get a season under their belt, the ego starts getting inflated. So I'll bet money that we're going to see a brand new and improved Bronwyn for season 6. Give it some time. So anyhow, everybody arrives. Lisa is surprised to see Mary. She's like, oh my gosh, guys, Mary's here. She's camping with us today. So now you have Meredith throwing some shade, and she says, oh, I guess an hour late is the norm these days. I said, okay, Meredith, girl. I said, girl, and if somebody shaded you about how you always play victim, you'd be upset. So anyhow, they're making small talk, sitting around the fire pit, and Lisa brings up Brittany's Instagram with Jared. So she's like, yeah, I see he's trying to really wow you and surprise you. You guys were backstage with his brother or cousin, Donny Osmond. So Lisa's joking around saying that Donny Osmond is so cute, and if she were dating Donny, then she would approve. So now you have Bronwyn joking around, and she says, well, Brittany's only dating Jared to get closer to Donny. So they all start laughing. Mary had me screaming. Mary was like, oh, is Donny available? I said, Mary is too much. Oh, wait, Donny is the uncle. Oh, he's the uncle? Aren't they like the same age? Oh, I mean, I don't know anything about the Osmond family. I know Marie Osmond, they used to do those like the Weight Watcher, the Nutrisystem commercials. That's all I remember, or all I know about Marie Osmond and Donny. Like, I don't really know anything. They're like the Mormon Jackson 5 or something. That's what my parents told me. But yeah. Wait, Donny and Marie, how old are they? How old are they? They're like, what? Are they like 60s, 70s? Marie looks good when I Googled her the other day, because she came up in my mind, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I don't really know much about the Osmonds. Oh, they're his aunt, uncle. Donnie's 65. They were like the Jacksons. Okay, the white version of the Jackson 5. Okay. Yeah, that's what my parents always said. They're in their 70s. Wow. Wow. They look good for that. They look really good, I have to say. Donnie looks old. Okay. Well, anyhow, Brittany says that her and Jared can't seem to stay broken up. When they were broken up, she was dating 10 guys, dating BYU style, just kissing. So now you have Heather talking about soaking. I've heard about soaking. and how a lot of Mormons do that. I'm like, if you have to do all that, just go all the way. You're already in there. I just feel like if you're, you know what, let me just leave that alone. But yeah, Heather was really invested in telling us all about soaking. So you have Brittany talking about she doesn't care what they do when they break up, and how when they were in Vegas together on the trip, he professed his love for her, and it's this hamster wheel. Brittany, I'm not going to keep saying it. You need to go and see the lady. You need some serious help. For you to be at your big age with this low self-esteem, this man is stringing you along. He does not want you like that. The fact that you cannot let this go, you should not want anybody who does not want you. Like, I don't mean to get preachy, but I just really get annoyed because I know that we like to talk about how men can't take rejection, but there are women who can't take rejection either. And the way my self-esteem is set up, if I get an inkling that you have lost interest or interest is waning, I'm out. I don't want anybody or anything that does not want me. Like, if you have to beg for something, you should not want anything that is not given freely. If you have to force somebody to be with you, they're not really with you. Why do you want that? You should not, if you have to beg anybody for friendship, for like partnership, whatever, if you have to beg for it, you don't truly have it. If it's not given freely with ease, then that's desperation. If you give somebody an ultimatum, that's desperation. People show you with their actions that they do not want you, and when they do that, it's time for you to leave. Mixed signals are not a thing. If you're getting mixed signals, they're not interested. It's like, it's embarrassing to watch her sit up here and be desperate, and she's proud of her desperation. I'm like, girl, you are good and grown. You should know better. And she's still carrying on like she's 15 years old and does not know how to navigate dating. I don't know. It's very sad, but Brittany, is you've got to stop this. This man does not want you. Somebody can have sex with you and still not want you. There are men who have sex with women they're not even attracted to. They just do it because they're there. Sex does not mean anything. Like, people, I just don't know why people don't understand, like, what's not clicking. And she's out here making herself look crazy on national TV, and she's still with this man in present day, in real life. Like, are you not embarrassed? You've forsaken your relationship with your 2 daughters to chase behind a man who does not want you? Or what are we doing? What are we talking about? No shame. Got grown kids and stepkids. Yeah, it's crazy to see a woman act like a teen. Brittany talks too much. Some things are better left unsaid. It's true. It's so true. Say it again, Brooke. Brittany, let it go. It's crazy. Somebody help her. Brittany's too old for this. Yeah, it's horrible. I'm happy Angie clocked her. So we now have them. Oh, they do the potato sack race. That's cute. Now it's time to eat. And Angie says, hopefully we can all enjoy each other's company. And anytime somebody says that, things always go left. So now Heather goes on to ask everybody what their favorite memories are of girls' camp. So Brittany says that her favorite memory was the day before testimony. They would go up in the wilderness by themselves and then come back and tell everybody about their experience. Now I'm guessing that the camp that they went to when they were little was a Mormon camp, because I never heard about going in the wilderness by yourself for a testimony at a regular sleepaway camp. So this had to be a Mormon sleepaway camp, because it wasn't a regular one. So Angie interrupts and she's like, Brittany, can I ask you, are you a practicing Mormon still? And Brittany says, yes. So Angie says, oh, so does your bishop know that you drink? So of course we get into the whole thing about when Angie brought over the wine to Brittany's house, when she had that Mormon family night, whatever it was, but she was mad about that. I said, we're still talking about that? I thought we dropped this. I thought we already talked about this in the last episode. Like, it wasn't that deep for us to still be going at it about this. Like, enough already. But they're still going on about it. And Angie says, I just thought that it was weird because you were upset with me in public, but then in text message, you thanked me, telling me how beautiful the wine was. So I'm confused. So now Mary interjects and she's like, it's very two-faced. And now Lisa's like, I don't think it was two-faced. And Mary's like, why don't we go back to manners and etiquette? So now she calls out Meredith for walking out of her house, and she found that rude and offensive. Now, Miss Mary, you want to talk about manners and etiquette? Manners and etiquette means you don't show up an hour late when you were supposed to meet somebody. I'm just saying, girl. I'm just saying, if we want to talk about manners and etiquette, then let's walk the walk, because you also messed up too, showing up late like that. Just saying. And also, this group does need an etiquette lesson, because some of these women hold their knife and fork like a caveman. I'm not going to name names, but the one who made that comment about she doesn't like the food in Italy because it's too fresh. Yeah, the way she holds her utensils is atrocious. And I don't care. She can have all the Fendi jumpsuits in the world. I'm like, Miss Mamas, if you're a part of the upper echelon, you need to know how to eat. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, listen, y'all, I've said this before in several recaps. I mean, fun fact, my mom was a model, and then later on, she became an etiquette teacher. So I know how to eat correctly. I know how to correctly hold my knife and fork. I know where my knives and where all my where my cups go, where my bread plate goes, where the serving spoons are. Like, I could set a whole dinner, if I could set a whole table up for a 9-course dinner. Okay, I know if there are 4 forks, to the side, and so seeing how some of these women eat, but yet you want to brag and flex and stunt about how much money you have. Well, a big part of that is you know how to correctly hold your utensils. It's not just about having money. It's about having the class to go with it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. I know a little something about a little something. So I'm gonna just leave it right there. But y'all do need an etiquette lesson. A lot of y'all from several of the housewives, because I said this in my OC recap when Heather Dubrow had that etiquette lesson for them when they were in London. A lot of them, Gina holds her knife and fork. Oh my Lord. Have you seen? I'm like, my God, girl. A lot of them need etiquette lessons on how to properly eat. Because I'm like, my God. I'm just saying. Oh, the shade of it all. To be fair, I don't think she's using cutlery to eat Wendy's, which she eats 90% of the time. You're right. You're right. Gina stays catching strays. Sutton's name them will go down in the books. Listen. I'll honk the horn on them. Gina gonna get whacked again and again and again. No, but I'm just saying, y'all. I just thought I would throw that in there. But now we have Mary and, so Brittany jumps in and decides to check Mary. And she says, but why are you asking people to leave your home anyway? So Mary says, girl, I was not talking to you. Shut up. So Brittany's like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe it. Did you hear her? And I said, now, Brittany, you know that Mary does not see it for you. So your best bet is to keep quiet. But Meredith says, you asked me to leave. I didn't feel welcome, so I left. So Mary reiterates that once again, she did not ask her to leave. She says, I was talking to both you and Angie. I said, if you can't be quiet, then you guys can both leave. So Mary says, you don't find it rude for you to walk out like that? And Meredith says, no, I don't. So now Angie says, well, you guys, so now Angie jumps in and she's like, well, you guys have a history together and that was wrong of you to walk out. But not only that, you took that gift that Mary gave you as well. So now you have Meredith saying, well, if you want that gift back, then it's no problem. I'll gladly give it back. I don't care that much. And I said, girl, it's not that deep. Mary's not going to ask you for that gift back anyway. So calm down. Now, I remember I watched the after show for episode 10, and Mary said that she had more gifts for them, but because the day got ruined because of what happened between Angie and Meredith, she didn't give it to them. She said that she had engraved perfumes from Louis Vuitton for all of them, and she was going to give that to them, but decided not to. Now I said, Mary, I would have given them the gifts. Meredith would not have gotten hers. I would have given hers to somebody else. But I feel like it's not right that they all have to suffer because Meredith had an outburst and left. They lost their gift privileges. Exactly. If she didn't care, she would have left it. Exactly. Mary clocked Meredith so bad on her victim complex. Yes. So Mary says, Meredith, if you feel like you did not do anything wrong, we'll just leave it right there. So now Whitney jumps in and says, well, yeah, because Meredith is a huge grudge holder. And then she says that Meredith is playing Lisa's game. So we already know that that's about to start some mess now between Lisa and Whitney. So Lisa's like, don't lie, Whitney. Don't lie. I'm not a liar. Don't say that. Take that back. I'm not a liar. I wasn't lying. Lisa's voice, despite Lisa working my nerves, Lisa's voice is iconic. She ate that one little thing with that voice. Whitney and Lisa get into it. And now Lisa says, Heather, why don't you ask Bronwyn what she says about you because you lie so badly? So now Whitney's like, wait, what? Like, what am I saying about Heather? So Bronwyn says, well, I was a bit surprised that you and Heather did this event together because of what you've said. So Whitney's like, girl, what are you talking about based off of what? Oh, you said Lisa's voice is not iconic. Iconic to some, painful to me. I'm screaming. Y'all said her voice is not iconic. Wow. So Heather's like, well, wait, what does Whitney say about me, Bronwyn? So Bronwyn says, well, Whitney says that she thinks you don't have her back because you'd rather be friends with Lisa. So Whitney says, no, I'll tell you exactly what I said. All I said was, Heather, you try to stay good with Lisa when Angie and I had our problems with with Lisa at the same time, and how that caused some strain on our relationship. So Heather, of course, trying to be a contrarian, she's like, well, that's not offensive. I don't see the big deal about that because everybody vents and those are her feelings. I said, now, Heather, you know good and damn well that had anybody else relayed that message, you'd be mad at Whitney. Because you can't stand Bronwyn and you don't want to give her that, now you want to sit up there and say, oh, well, I don't care. Because we've heard Whitney say that same exact sentiment and you've gotten angry at her. You guys have gotten into whole blowouts over Lisa Barlow and how Whitney and how you guys both feel like you guys are both vying for Lisa's attention. For you to sit up there and lie with a straight face like that and say that you don't care, I said, girl, stop. It's a sad day when somebody hates you so bad that no matter what you say, they're going to always say the opposite. A mess. And Bronwyn, if I were you, I would have kept my mouth shut in the car ride on the way to the camping trip, because the way Lisa set you up, I would not have said anything. So, Whitney says that she's frustrated and upset now because she gave Bronwyn a big chance, and for Bronwyn to try and throw her under the bus, she's really pissed about that. And then she says, if you throw us under the bus, we're going to back it up and run you over. I said, girl, you throw everybody under the bus all the time. Whitney, are you serious right now? Whitney is the biggest pot stirrer in this group. She is the Ashley Darby of this cast. And she is always throwing rocks, hiding her hands, twisting up people's words all the time, causing all this mess. And now you want to say, well, if you want to throw me under the bus, I'll back it up and run you over. Girl, you throw everybody in this cast under the bus and you lie on people. I was too done. If you had to get rid of one full cast member, who would it be? I would say that's a three-way tie. Heather, Whitney, and I'm sorry, but Meredith is really irking me this season. It would have to be one of them. I really hope that one of them does go or gets demoted next season because I'm not liking their attitudes. I'm not liking the behavior, the lies, the smugness. Like I'm just not here for it. So now you have Angie. Now, Angie, girl, I've been riding for you since last season, Miss Mamas, but you severely hurt my heart when you tried to call out Bronwyn and then twist up what she said. I said, no, ma'am. But Angie jumps into it and she tries to call out Bronwyn. And she says, you know, before we went to Palm Springs, when me, you, and Whitney went on that walk, you said all this stuff about Lisa. I said, Angie, did you not forget what really happened? You and Whitney were both mad at Lisa. Y'all were talking, you know what? I don't want to curse on live because YouTube gets weird when you say it on live. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. But they were going in on Lisa. They said that Lisa is vindictive and how she wants revenge when she's mad at you. Production plays the clips back. They were both saying that. Bronwyn said out of her mouth, that's not the Lisa that I know. I've never seen that side of Lisa. I don't have that experience. For Angie and Whitney to turn on Bronwyn and act like she's the one who said that, I said, girl, are we serious right now? How do you forget what you said? Again, Angie, I love you down, but you lost me with that. I said, I'm sorry, Angie. I understand that you and Lisa are all good now, but don't sit up there and lie. When you and Lisa were on the outs, you were talking badly about her. Let's not do that. Because again, when you guys were on that hike, Bronwyn stuck up for Lisa, and you and Whitney were talking badly about her. I hate how these women have selective memory. Yes, they do. They have selective memory and amnesia as well. It's very annoying. So Bronwyn and Angie are still going at it. And Angie says Bronwyn says, you told me that she effed you guys both over. So Angie's like, wait, what? I said that? I said that Lisa effed us over? I didn't say that. And now she says to Bronwyn, you need to borrow one of Meredith's hearing aids, turn them up and hear me one more time. So here goes Meredith being dramatic. She says, well, that was nasty. So making fun of people's impairments are funny. I said, Meredith, I promise you, nobody was talking badly about your hearing aids. And if I recall, wasn't Meredith making fun of herself when she told them about her hearing aids and when they were in Palm Springs? Now, quick thing. Maybe I'm not qualified to speak on this. If there's anybody in the chat who does wear hearing aids for whatever reason, did you find it offensive? Let me know. I want to make sure that I'm viewing this from an objective place. If that was offensive, oh, it sounded pretty rude to me. Angie minces words. Angie's two-faced. Oh, I love you too. Okay, so it looks like we have folks saying that they found it rude. She's two-faced, a try-hard, and a social climber. We are reading tonight. Yes, it was offensive. Okay. All right. Did Angie apologize? I thought she apologized in the after show. Let me know. I was fine with it. I didn't like the comment. No, it was rude. Angie's the MVP of the season. Okay, so it looks like we have a mix of opinions. It was uncalled for. I don't think it was offensive. It was offensive. How the hell did Meredith get in the argument? Not really. I found it rude. It was unnecessary. Mary checked Angie in the after show. Oh, she did. Oh, wow. Okay. She apologized in the after show. I asked my grandpa. He thought it was funny. She did, and Mary called her out. Angie thinks she's a comedian. It was funny to me, but yes, it was a crazy read. Okay. To me, I didn't take it any particular way. I mean, I didn't think that it was that funny. I thought that the read kind of fell flat, but I didn't find it to be I mean, listen, you know what? I'm not the audience who I find it, I can't really speak on. A lot of folks are saying it was offensive, so we're going to go from there. But I will say that I think with Meredith, it can get tiring because Meredith seems like she's always looking for ways to be offended, if that makes sense. So maybe when she was like, oh my gosh, I'm just so offended, it was like, okay, like here you are mad about something else. Like, that's how I took it. Oh, Angie did not really apologize in the after show. Oh, okay, thank you. It was a flat read. It gave elementary school comeback. Yes. It wasn't I have a disability. In my personal opinion, it wasn't offensive because she wasn't using it towards Meredith. She was using it to someone else. Got it. Meredith plays victim. I laughed because I was high. It was not offensive. It was a bad read. Yes. It was a very bad read. So now, we now see Angie. Angie says that Bronwyn lost her. And now we have Lisa interject and she calls Whitney a liar. So now Mary jumps in and she gets into it with Lisa. So she's like, girl, you lie all the time. Everything out of your mouth is a lie. You're the fakest person I've ever seen. So Lisa's like, Mary, you don't know me enough like that. You're not around me like that, Mary. Mary, I'm not a liar. I'm not fake, okay, Mary? Like, just stop. You just don't know me, Mary. Like, okay, Mary, whatever you say. So they go back and forth. Mary's like, girl, you just lie about everything. You're talking about you have a specialist in Milan. And Lisa's like, oh, so you're mad at me. And by the way, I do. And her name is Danny. So now she brings up how Mary's mad because she wore the same Fendi jumpsuit. And Mary's even angrier because she bought her Fendi jumpsuit at the fashion show and Mary bought hers off the rack. So Mary says, girl, at the end of the day, you're a copycat. You're a hot mess. So Lisa's like, no. So Lisa says, listen, Mary, at the end of the day, I'm not a copycat because I was front row at the Fendi show and I bought mine right then and there. And I was sitting front row next to Kim Kardashian and SJP. Okay. And you were nowhere to be found. You bought yours off the rack at Bergdorf's. I was actually there. So Mary's like, girl, anybody can be front row. I said, whack her again, Mary. So now Mary says, girl, Meredith is crazy because you said that she was a whore who slept with half of New York. I don't know how she's friends with you still. So Lisa's like, they always go back to that when they don't have anything else. So now Mary keeps calling her a hot mess. Then she says, go jump in the lake right there. And Lisa is still talking. So Mary's like, girl, you can't shut me up. And then she calls Lisa a dingbat. Now, quick side note. I don't know if you guys heard like the rumors and the stories before this season aired, but allegedly this argument got chopped in half. We didn't see the whole thing because allegedly things took a very drastic turn and production cut it out for Mary's sake. Because allegedly at the end of this conversation, and that's why everybody's shaken up and we're kind of confused. Like, wait, why is everybody so upset over this little argument? But allegedly, Mary allegedly called Lisa's youngest son, Henry, a slur. And I'm going to leave it there. That's why later on in the Shabbat dinner, they're talking about how upset they were by the camping trip. That's why. So we didn't see the whole thing. They cut it off right here. But it got darker. If this really is true about Mary saying that, I hope that Mary apologized profusely to Lisa and Henry and John. That's unacceptable. Also, production spared Mary, because had production kept that in, nobody would have any sympathy for Mary and the last scene with her son. So Mary needs to thank the Lord that production cut this out. But this is alleged, but that's why things seem out of sequence as to why everybody is so on edge towards the end of this scene, because you're like, wait, this argument wasn't that deep. Why is everybody so upset? Things took a darker turn between everybody. So that's why. Just thought I would add some context as to this argument. I heard that Lisa, yes. Lisa said something about Robert Jr. Yes, she said something, and then Mary returned back with allegedly. Yes. So they were both trading jabs. It went very dark. Lisa's comment, yes, it just took a very dark turn for everybody. Allegedly. Lisa or Heather leaked this information. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, well, absolutely, because production wouldn't. Yeah, I agree. Lisa should have kept her mouth shut, period. I was wondering why Bronwyn said this is too much. Yes, that's why Bronwyn said that, because they both went off the deep end. So, yeah, they both took it to hell. Yes. Child, everybody was wrong. They were wrong. The cat was wrong. It was a hot mess. But for both of their sakes, yeah, because that would have been a bad look for Lisa to talk about Mary's son allegedly and his you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a horrible look on both of them. And I would not be surprised if Heather or Whitney leaked this information about what went on in this conversation, because nobody would know other than them. Nobody else was there to hear it, just them and production. So, child, they should both apologize to each other. Yeah, I agree. Yay, both were wrong. That's why you can't go low with some people. Child, it's a mess. I wonder if it will get brought up at the reunion. Yeah, I'm wondering that too. I don't know. I think Andy might steer clear of that. You know what I think? I think that a lot of us should send in questions when it's time for us to submit the questions for the reunion. I think that should be submitted as a question to Mary and Lisa about this whole thing about, what was said in the argument. Oh, you think Lisa leaked this alleged information? She might have. They should apologize to the kids. Production decided to chop. It was loaded. Yes. Oh no, you're right. No, you're absolutely correct. Because remembering that Lisa allegedly was the one who said it about, and then she responded. They were both at fault, hands down, both at fault. Period. End of story. But yeah, they both owe each other an apology, and they both owe each other's kids an apology too. It's no shade, but when you bring up me and mine, there's no level of disrespect. I won't go. I think Andy is already asking. Oh, if he's already asking, yeah, well, let's definitely load up and ask. This should be addressed, in my opinion. Yes, no, Andy does get annoyed when the fans ask real questions. No, he does. But we cut it, we see Mary call Lisa a dingbat. It was very much Karen Huger coded, because remember when Karen called Jacqueline a dingbat when they were in Lake Norman. So now Mary says that she has no time for this because people are starting fights with her. She's on edge, especially when she has a lot going on with her son. So now Whitney says we need to chill out for a second. Let's take a minute, please. Let's speak clearly and one at a time. And now Meredith says that making fun of any disability is wrong. And she's talking about her hearing, the hearing aids read that Angie said. So now Angie says, I was not trying to offend you. And you guys said that Angie sort of gave an apology in the after show, sort of, not really, but kind of. So now, again, it was after what happened between Lisa and Mary, things were just chopped up so weirdly. So I couldn't really make heads or tails of these last 2 minutes of them at the campfire. But pretty much this scene is over. They all head back. It was a big flop because everybody is pissed at each other. Everybody was at each other's throat. So this whole camp kumbaya was a flop. It was a chop. It was a big bust. So now it is the evening of Meredith and Seth's Shabbat dinner at their house. So Heather arrives first. Brittany and Jared arrive, Bronwyn and Todd. And I don't know why Heather cannot get Todd's name right. She keeps calling him Alan. I said, girl, how do you get Alan from Todd? A mess. Did anybody else think it was weird when Heather was talking to Meredith's kids, Chloe and Brooks, about soaking? I said, the woman who claims to be so prude about sex, the same woman who ripped Monica a new asshole last season about talking about sex of any kind, now she's talking to somebody's kids. I mean, even though they're grown adults, Brooks is what, 24, 25, Chloe's 22, 23, they are adults. But I just think it's weird that you're too prude and conservative to talk about sex with your peers who are your age, but yet you have no issue talking about that with somebody else's kids. When you were mad about somebody talking about, well, trying to inquire about your daughter's sex life. I thought it was a bit weird. I was like, okay, girl. So it's okay when you do it, but let somebody have this conversation with your kids, you'd be upset. It's weird. It's very weird. But she was talking about soaking and the other, I think it's called jump humping, where there's somebody else on the bed jumping. You know, I said, okay, girl. All right. Brooks and Chloe were laughing at her, not with her. Yes. Very much Arrested Development. She seemed too proud to talk about it. Yeah, it was like, I was like, girl, you talking about, oh, I don't talk about sex and, you know, I'm a grown woman. I don't talk about this. It's private. But then you're talking to somebody else's kids. Like, you better have that same energy. Somebody else rolls up talking about, never mind. Let me just stop. Let me just be quiet. A mess. Heather is also a dingbat. Yes. Heather has issues. Yes. Child. So now they sit down for Shabbat dinner and Meredith thanks them all for coming. She says that as her bat mitzvah is approaching, she's embracing her traditions. The food looked good. I've been to a Shabbat dinner myself. I've been to many bar bat mitzvahs too. Food is always chef's kiss. The challah bread had my mouth watering. I said, absolutely. But, you know, they're talking. Meredith invites Brittany and Jared to her bat mitzvah next week. Jared shares that his mom's side of the family is actually half Jewish. And now Lisa brings up how John, her husband, is also half Jewish too. Now, Lisa, can you let your husband speak? The fact that Lisa took over the whole entire story about how they found out his roots, I'm like, can you let the man talk? My God. A mess. Lisa does not stop. So now Todd brings up this weird story and he says, you know, finding out your ancestry is interesting. And then he says when him and Bronwyn started dating, he had the NSA do a background check on her. So they're all like, excuse me, what? I'm like, now, Todd, first of all, you know that Heather's there. Heather is your wife's op. Why would you tell that story in front of her enemy? Second of all, you don't have the good sense to keep your mouth quiet. That made sense to you to share that? You're mad about Bronwyn sharing about her experience with her daughter and the baby's daddy's family. You don't want to talk about that, but you want to bring up how you did this full-fledged background check on her? Like, I was irritated. That marriage looks a hot-ass mess to me. I'm so sorry. I don't like the way he talks to her. There's no intimacy. There's no connection. I don't get any romance from them. I don't. His arms are always folded. And Heather, I would have cursed you out at this table. When Heather said, oh, well, I hope that your BYU expulsion came up. And Bronwyn says, I did. Girl, why are you so pressed about this woman getting expelled from her college 20 years ago? Are you okay? I was like, why would you say that? I would have checked Heather right then and there. How dare you? They now start talking about the camping activity that was a flop. And Lisa says, we wrecked it. It ended so badly. And Bronwyn says, didn't it though? So now Bronwyn says that some real cutting stuff was said. And then she says, here's my thing. Angie got feisty with me because I was saying that she didn't want I was saying stuff that she did not want the two of you guys to hear. So now Bronwyn goes on to say that when you're in a good place with somebody, when you talk about your friends behind their backs, when you guys are in a good place, it's cute and it's fun and it's sassy. But when you're not in a good place, it's offensive and it's harmful. So she's pretty much calling out the double standards. So now she jokes around and says that she can be a real snarky bitch. And now Todd's like, don't say that. I said, this is your wife. That's not your daughter. Why are you telling a grown woman what not to say at the table? It's clearly a joke. I don't understand how she can put up with that. It couldn't be me. It wouldn't be me. Absolutely not. Talking about don't say that. Are you my father, sir? I was too done. So now Bronwyn says, at what point do you realize that whether you like it or not, what I'm saying is not untrue? So now Lisa, they change topics and Lisa brings up how they felt afterwards of the camping activity. And she says, I didn't feel good about it. And none of them did. Wait, she said the C word? Oh, I thought she said she's a snarky bitch. That's what it said on my, did I say it wrong? Oh, sorry, y'all, my bad. I could have sworn she said the B word. Oh, I didn't know oh, yeah, you're right. They wouldn't have bleeped that out. You're right. Y'all are right. No, literally in my notes, I have, she said a snarky bitch, and my TV said bitch. Maybe my TV was editing out what she said. Okay, well, I'm sorry for that. Oh, she said C word. Oh, that's why he got mad. I mean, but still though, you don't have to talk to me like a kid. And also, if we're being honest though, I mean, the C word has come back in fashion. I mean, I feel like ever since Beyonce dropped Renaissance, the C word came back, honey, because even sometimes, never mind. You said my TV lied. Girl, oh, she said bitch. Either way, C word or B word, whatever he said, honey, he could have nudged her under the table, like you said. Exactly. Todd is nowhere near up to date. Okay, wait, well, listen, my TV said bitch, y'all's TV said the C word, so our TVs lied to both of us. The TV lied like Heather. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Now they start talking. Oh, they start talking about Mary. And Lisa says that Mary crossed a line yesterday. So she's obviously referring to what happened when they were talking about each other's sons. Keep that in mind. So then Lisa says that she also did not like the way Mary spoke to Meredith either. And Meredith says, regarding Mary, I'm really upset because I stood beside her. I supported her. I've always had her back. And now I'm seeing a side that I did not know. So now she says that she's worried about Mary because her behavior is unusual and it makes her wonder if there's bigger stuff going on. Now, y'all, I already said this earlier on. We all know that while they were filming, the articles were coming out about Rob Jr. and his addiction. So for them to act like, oh, well, what could be the matter? What could be the problem? They already knew. So I think that it's really lame of them to act like, oh, well, I don't know. I hope that nothing's going on. You guys knew. You guys had a feeling. And if you guys were actually her friends, you would have picked up that phone and you would have called her and said, hey, Mary, I've heard X, Y, and Z is going on with your son. I hope everything is all right. Just my 2 cents. She said the B word, Peacock doesn't blip. And on Peacock, you could hear her say the B word. Yeah, that's what I could. Well, I guess my TV said the B word, y'all's TV said the C word, their TV said another word. We all heard different things. Maybe she said both. Maybe she said the B word and then the C word too. So who knows? So now Brittany brings up that Meredith brings up a good point. She says we need to give Mary some grace because something might be wrong. So now, y'all, we get to the scene I don't want to say all been waiting for, but one of the saddest, most heartbreaking scenes that I can speak only for me, but one of the saddest scenes that I've seen across all the Housewives franchises put together, and I've been watching since OC season 1. This by far was top 2 gut-wrenching scenes ever. Mary's at home. Rob Jr.'s in his room. He's in his bed. She comes in his room and she's like, hey, what's up? So, making small talk before she asks him, okay, so what's going on? But she says, I don't know how I am, but I want to know, how are you doing? How are things? So we cut to Mary's confessional, and she says that Rob Jr. was the perfect kid, very good in school, straight A's, very smart, very advanced. He was their prize, just a great kid, her baby. So she says that's the Robert that she knows, and that's the Robert that she wants to reach. So she says, what are we doing? I want you to be real with me, and I want you to talk to me. Like, don't give me no fluff. You better tell me what it is. I want to hear the truth, nothing but the truth. So Rob says that he's taking Xanax. Mary's like, why? Rob says he didn't sleep last night. So Mary's like, so you're going to sleep the whole day away? So he says, no, I just took half to just shut everything out. Then he says that he takes an Adderall to balance out the Xanax. Mary's shocked. Now, quick side note, if you've ever taken a Xanax for whatever, I've taken Xanax before. As it was a medication, I had a surgery, I had a Xanax, all that stuff, right? Xanax is so heavy, and that will put you to sleep like that. It calms you out. It does mellow you out, but to think that he's just taking Xanax like that, you know what I mean? And honestly, when you are prescribed a medication like Xanax or anything, you can see how easily it is that you can slip into an addiction, because you know what I'm saying? And like, I just have so much sympathy because people think that it could never be them. And just like that, it could be any of us. If you've ever had a surgery, ever been, prescribed any medications, you see how easy it can be to slip into any pattern like that. But let me just say that I was so happy to see Robert just talking to his mom and being completely honest, unfiltered, just telling her the truth, like did not sugarcoat anything. And I love how she held space for him to be honest. She was like, I'm not judging you. I don't love you any less. Just tell me what is going on. And that's the best way to do it. But yeah. Just listen, like, no, my dad used to always say, and I never understood what it meant until like I got older, but he used to always say, by the grace of God, there go I. And when he would say that, I never understood what he meant until he explained it. But like, just going through life, you will see how easily some stuff could be you. And I think when you look at it like that, you can never judge or get on your high horse that it couldn't. You know what I'm saying? But I feel myself getting emotional because this was a very heavy scene. So he says that he took an Adderall to balance out the Xanax. Mary's shocked. She's like, do you see this as a problem? Are you unhappy? So Robert says, no, it's just that sometimes I feel like life is like unseasoned chicken. And when he gets high, it adds some seasoning to it. So Mary's like, okay, so when did you start this? We find out that when Robert turned 16, that's when he started. He says at first he stuck to natural stuff, but then he went to a party. Someone gave him a Xanax. He liked it. He started buying it. And then he started doing Xanax with acid. Then he started mixing it with Molly. And then he mixed it with everything and then cocaine. So he noticed that it was a turning point. And at one point he was taking 10, I think he was taking 10. Was he taking 10 Xanax? So he wasn't clear. Was it 10 Xanax at a time or was it 10 Adderalls at a time? I wasn't clear about that. But he said he was taking 10 at once. And it was to the point where he couldn't feel anything at all. Mary's in tears. She says, I won't judge you. Oh, yes. Thank Oxy. He was taking 10 Oxys. Yes, 10 Oxys at a time. Thank you. That's what it was. So Mary says, I won't judge you. I can help you. But you have to help yourself because I'm not going to support this. So then she goes on to ask him, does he accept that he has a problem? So he's quiet. And Mary says, just tell me that, please. So now we cut to Mary's confessional and she says, I feel disappointed in myself. I feel like I let him down. I knew that he smoked weed and ate edibles, but I trusted that that's where it started and stopped. But clearly I missed the mark. I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to her missing the mark in any way. I will, please, for my parents, please feel free. I want to see what you have to say in the chat. All I can say is, in this case, I feel bad that Mary's blaming herself. I feel like you can have great parents, and at the end of the day, you're still going to do what you want to do as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still going to do like what you want. I think that Mary did the best that she could with what she had. And also, this shows me such an elite level of parenting because she's given him the space to be honest. I think that Robert is blessed in that sense because a lot of people don't have understanding parents, no matter what the age is, you know? I think that at the end of the day, like, kids are going to do what they want to do, regardless if you're attentive or if you're a neglectful parent. You're going to make your own decision. There are people who had great parents and the kids still ended up getting into certain things. And then you have kids who had parents who weren't really that, attentive and didn't really care about them. And they ended up being straight laced and, very like straight and narrow, despite growing up with the opposite. I think that yeah, I like how she's compassionate. Yeah, I love seeing that. I love seeing that openness. I think that because I was blessed with parents like that, where I could be open and talk about anything. And when I mean anything, you know how people say that, but it's one thing to say it, but to actually experience that is different, because I could talk about freely sex, drugs, drinking. I could be very honest about, well, hey, this was presented to me and I'm feeling like I might want to, like I could talk and I didn't have to worry about being in trouble. And I think that because of that, you can talk freely and you can actually have your parents say, well, no, don't do that because it's going to mess up your life or whatever, because you're not worried about getting in trouble. But I like how there's open communication. But yeah, I think that Mary, I know this might not mean a lot, who am I? But I think that you just opening up the pathway to having open conversation is very helpful. I lost my son at 17 to drugs. He's been in and out of jail. I will always blame myself. It's a pain I don't wish on my worst enemy. I'm so sorry to hear that, Regina. I'm very sorry to hear that. And my condolences, if this means anything, please don't blame yourself. You loved your son. I'm sure you were an amazing mom. Please don't blame yourself. You can't blame yourself. You did the best that you could. You did the best that you could. And I can't even imagine your pain, but please, if this means anything, please do not blame yourself. And I'm sending you a lot of love. I'm very sorry to hear that. Can we send Regina a lot of love? I'm very sorry to hear that, Regina. My deepest condolences. But no, please, you did the best that you could, and you cannot blame yourself. You can't. It's not your fault. And I don't know if anybody's ever said that, but it's not your fault. You can't blame yourself. I'm sure you were a wonderful mother. And it makes me sad, to see you or anybody, Mary blaming herself. You did the best that you could. So Mary, here's where I started really crying. Mary says, you're so blessed. Every day is a blessed day. God wakes you up. Do you know how many people did not wake up today? And Rob says that he wanted to die. He said that he felt like a stain, like this world was not for him. And that was, that was a lot. I felt bad. I felt really bad. Like, that's for him to feel that way. He's only 21 years old and he's feeling like that. I did not expect to start crying on live. Goodness gracious, but that's really tough. And you go through, everybody has a different journey and everybody goes through a lot of stuff in life. And you could just feel the pain in what he was saying. And when Mary said, that would kill me, I love you. And when he said the only reason why he didn't take himself out was because he loves his mom so much. And just that moment alone, I said, thank God that he had something to anchor him to not do that. And I said this before in a live a few months ago, but if you're ever like in a tough spot, I don't even know why I'm like crying like this. I did not expect this. But if you're ever in a tough spot, please know that there is There is no such thing as a hopeless situation. Like, I don't care how bad you think stuff is. I don't care how low you think stuff is. I don't care if everything is messed up. Um, there's no such thing as a hopeless situation. Like, everybody goes through stuff, ups and downs, and life can be a lot sometimes. I get that. But please, like, you are loved, you are needed. Just seeing him like that, that was really sad. This scene was a lot. I'm not gonna hold you. I was actually this close to not even doing the review for this episode because it was a lot. It was a very heavy. That scene was a lot. I did not think I was gonna like start crying because I cried watching and I was like, okay, we're gonna get together for the review. But just like a blessing that he knew to like stay for his mom. And I know I've gotten on Mary in the past and how she can be socially awkward and blunt and kind of rude, but you really saw her humanity in this episode, and it was very touching when she said that she loves him more than anything, even more than the dad. And she says, "You're my friend, you're my son, you're my gift. God gave you to me. You're the only thing that made me happy. Before you, I was never happy." I have a lot of empathy for Mary. And I know that we joke about her, but there's a lot of pain there. And I just, it was nice to see the full humanity of it, you know? But just for if anyone, is dealing with a hard time or whatever have you, you don't have to say your business in the chat, but please know that things always get better, things always turn around. One thing that is so true, everything in life is temporary, so that means that even the bad times are temporary. It cannot always rain forever. Please remember that. It cannot always rain forever. The sun eventually comes out. I don't care if whatever you're dealing with, grief, loss of some sort, financial downs, whatever, a setback in your business, like whatever, a heartbreak, things always get better. I'm telling you this because I know this for a fact. The lowest moments, and it feels like you're never going to get out of it, or it's never going to end, it always ends. There's no such thing as a hopeless situation. My heart goes out to Mary and her son Robert Jr. I was hoping not to get like all sad like this, but it's a very sad scene. And then I don't know how you watch that like Heather and Meredith did, and they're talking about, oh yeah, that was captivating TV. Like, what the F are you talking about? This is real life. This boy wanted to take his life. Like, what are we saying here? But yeah, this episode was heavy. Oh, so, guys, I did not mean to like just go off on like a spiral, but Mary and her son, hug it out, and that's where it ends. But yeah, sending so much love to Mary. I think that despite all of the critiques of Mary, nobody can deny that Mary has brought her full self and her full story to the table. Yeah, yeah. I'm praying for that. I'm praying for her and her son. That scene was just a lot. That was yeah, I wonder where Robert Sr. is throughout all this. Yeah, I've wondered this too. I know that Mary said that he doesn't want to record, he doesn't want to be filmed because he's mad at Bravo, but I really hope and pray that Robert Sr. is in that house when the cameras are off and that he is tending to his son and not leaving this all on Mary. I really hope that he's present and not just off in one of their other houses. I can't believe Heather said that. I wonder if being a PK makes Robert Jr. feel like he has to be perfect. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I hated how dismissive the SLC cast were. Yeah, it was. I did not like that comment whatsoever. Yeah, it's a very sad issue. It's a very that scene really took me out, y'all. And then Regina sharing her story in the chat. I just really just, oh my God, I just lost it. Oh my Lord, guys. I did not mean to be such a wreck. And I kept you on for all this time, 2 hours and 19 minutes. But I'm going to end the live here. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank y'all for the love. Thank you for staying with me through 2 technical difficulties. I appreciate you guys more than you know. And yeah, where do you go from here? Where do we go from here? That was a lot. But guys, thank you all. Yes, Mary did say that he's in rehab, getting better. Thank God. So I'm happy for that. And I really hope that it stays that way. But I love y'all. Thank you all for the love that you've shown me today. I hope you guys had fun with me. I do want to just shout out Lydia Toulouse. Thank you for the super sticker. AKA Hilton, thank you for the super chat again. I love these live recaps. Did you ever do a show where we call in? Maybe. Never say never, right? I heard Mary use yes, I heard that she used that word too. But oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I love y'all too. Thank you, Maritza, for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you for recapping this episode. You're the best, and we love you. I love you guys more. And thank you all. Goodness, I don't know why I feel so embarrassed. It's not embarrassing to cry, but still, I did not expect to just let the waterworks take over like that. But yes, we have Potomac in 9 minutes, so we'll laugh at that, hopefully. But I can't do any more sad episodes like this on SLC. I want to laugh. Lord, y'all, this episode took me out. I'm not going to hold you much longer. I'm going to let you go. Thank you all for staying with me. Y'all have a great rest of your night. And I will see you all for Potomac tomorrow or Tuesday. All right, guys. Bye, y'all. Love y'all.